Hi, everyone. My name is Viktoria. I'm the project lead for Pekama. So today's webinar is organized by us and also by Cosmonauts. So Pekama is an IP intelligence tool. We are a docketing system, a budgeting system, as well as a community. So today we are back with our 5th webinar. We have Vincent here, as well as Shirley. I will ask you both to introduce yourself. Shirley, if you would like to go ahead.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Shirly Weiser. I'm an IP attorney, practicing trademarks and patents, and I am an in-house IP manager as a freelance for several companies.
Thank you. And Vincent as well?
Yeah, hi guys. So my name is Vincent Couteau. I'm a Belgian national, been working in IP for more than 20 years. Actually living by an adagio, I firmly believe that if you don't find IP will find you. And I'm not saying that because I'm an IP practitioner, but I truly believe that if you're conducting business of any kind, well, you need to be sensitive on the topic. Otherwise, it may end up on your table in a more unpleasant fashion. And actually, the reason why I went into IP was because of an epiphany. When I was working at the tech transfer department, I saw the power of IP in dentists. Well, there was a use case applied by dentists to the civil engineering domain, because dentists are used to apply biomineralization, so pushing bacteria in our mouth to fix teeth. And basically, they started talking to construction engineers, and they applied this method to fix the cracks in bridges. That's where it all started. I've been through many companies, also at the bar, managing a sizable trademark portfolio today, and actually my role encompasses transactions, which is a bit larger than trademarks, but we will obviously pick your brain most of the time on the patent side. So I will be talking more about trademarks today.
Thank you. It's very true. I think IP comes in everyone's life one way or another. We are actually, this is why we are also want to discuss cost control. I think in the last year, especially with COVID, I think companies and inventors as well are more cost conscious, and it's time to have a bit of discussion about how you can control your costs during the patent and trademark applications. And we'll also steer the conversation a bit towards the entire life cycle at one point. And as you both mentioned, we'll be approaching the discussion from both the patent and the trademark perspective. Shirley, with you talking mostly about the patent side, and Vincent, you'll be mentioning mostly the trademark side. But I know that you both have experience from both perspectives, so we'll be discussing that. And I kind of wanted to start off with a more general question at the beginning. In your experience, what do you think the most successful way of controlling costs within an IP department is? So both from the, let's start with Vincent for now.
Sure, Victoria, thanks. Well, I'm gonna bring a story as an in-house expert, so forgive me if I don't delve into the legal details. So I'm not gonna bring a legal practitioner's side here. But as far as I can tell, and it may be a bit classic in terms of message that I'll be conveying, but you actually need to try to do more with less, not less with more, but more with less. So it's really about trying to get where the business wants to reach in terms of objectives, and then try to deploy the right set of actions. So sometimes this may lead to actions that look a bit straightforward, but let me give you a couple of examples. So as far as I'm concerned, we've been trying to file less trademarks. That sounds obvious, right? Because if you file less, you will have less costs. But also, we're of the opinion that new trademark projects should be kept at a minimum. So in our process, we are actually scrutinizing a lot of things, and there's a lot of boxes that need to be ticked, like is there a sizable budget that we plan to sell in terms of offering of product? Do we actually need a trademark, and so on? There's a general trend in the IT industry that really tends towards generic and descriptive names, and we're trying to capitalize on our main corporate trademark. And one of those elements in there that we filed as a standalone trademark, it's actually what we call the Atos globe, and you can compare it with the Nike swoosh or the Vodafone teardrop. So we're kind of putting that center stage and really capitalizing on that one, and then trying to deploy a naming structure that is smart and that uses generic or descriptive names that also speak to the mind of people. And whether you're in B2B or B2B2C, it's really not needed to come up with a original name for every product, every platform, every software solution that you sell, because usually you're selling an offering, a whole offering as a service. And that's why this is the way we've been deploying our actions and try to be smart. Also, in my experience, and I will hand over to Shirly afterwards to talk about patents, but for me, filing a trademark is really like opening a Pandora's box. So if you want to go there, you better be prepared, because there's a lot of challenges ahead. So very often, if we can avoid filing a trademark, we will do it. And of course, just like with patents or with trademarks, we will have our defense strategy ready. So on the generic and the descriptive name side, we will have our whole storyline ready to make sure that whenever we get some C and D letters in, that we have a solid storyline. But then when the business case allows it or demands it, we do file, but we will try to file smarter, and it will save costs, but will have a better impact as well. But perhaps I will pause there and hand over to Shirly, because I think we will be talking about filing strategies later.
Yes, Shirly.
Okay, so this is a very challenging question that you were asking, Viktoria. How to take something quite expensive and try to control the costs. And it's ongoing, you know, that all the process of filing and the examination of patent applications take years. So my answer is in 3 words. Plan your actions. This is my answer to this huge question. Plan your actions. Plan your filing budget. Once you want to file a new patent application, ask your patent attorney for a quote for drafting the application, and then your patent attorney will be able also to give you the expected costs for the upcoming 3 years after the filing. There are requests for examinations to be filed in several countries, renewal fees in some other countries, and other kinds of formalities that can be foreseen. So ask the question, get the answer and plan your actions. Once you want to national phase your application, then make a choice, a thoughtful choice of the list of countries you want to national phase file your patent application. File in countries of business interest. Here I also have some anecdotes of people, of entrepreneurs or inventors that I ask, where do you want to file your patent application? And they say, in all over the world, of course. Then no, you will not file normally in all the countries in the world. You will file your application in the countries of business interest according to your business plan. Normally, I mean, I've never met a situation that requires so many filings in all over the world. Another way to save some costs in filing is before national phase filing, we have a chance to amend the PCT claims in order to reduce the number of claims, especially in countries that charge for excess number of claims, and to render the claims more applicable and to conform with the local requirements of every country we file the application in. A question I'm frequently asked about is if we can reduce the cost of translation in national phase filing. And my experience is that although these costs may be reduced by using a translating agency and not the patent attorney, this is the kind of cost I would not try to save, and do ask the patent attorney, the local patent attorney, to translate the patent application, because it has to go through examination and it should conform the terminology and the language of the patent application. Obviously, planning our actions also go through planning the renewals. We may decide every year what kind of what applications will be renewed, which will not be renewed, if we abandon or withdraw application. This gives us another way to control the costs. And there are also renewal agencies that provide some reduction in costs if the instructions for renewals are provided a year ahead and not just case by case. This is something that I suggest to check. So plan your actions.
Thank you. Yes, I think it's when you have an inventor with a smaller number of patents, they usually don't expect the costs, and they don't really plan ahead either, because they just think it's a one-off thing, or but it's actually very important. And we also, whenever we work with attorneys, we are trying to partner up with firms that also do IP strategy, for example, just because we know that when it comes to the IP owners, this is also something that's very important. And when it comes to the cost itself, one way, again, to kind of save costs is perhaps the patent prosecution highway as well. This is something that allows the clients, if they have a patent in one jurisdiction, to accelerate the handling of the same one in different jurisdictions.